All right, car audio buffs. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, introduce myself. My name's Keith, and I grew up in the late 80s. Well, grew up in the 70s, 80s, whatever, but got into, car audio in the late 80s, early 90s, and was the heyday. I drove a mini truck and had a big system in it. And I was always the kind of guy, the less is more, and just loved it. It was a great time, and every extra dollar I seemed to have is what went into doing this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Back in the day, I was a big Alpine guy, Rockford Fosgate, and so lately, last couple of years, I've been kind of finding some of this stuff and kind of getting the bug again, and I've put a couple systems together in the cars I drive with modern stuff, and modern stuff's got some neat features and some cool stuff, but it doesn't have the heart and the soul of the vintage stuff. And there's guys out there making these videos, Mr. Old School, Big D Wiz, occasionally he gives you a cool old school stuff, but mostly he's just testing some of this junky new shit that, who gives a shit, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's all Chinese shit. It all makes tons of power. So what, right? Sounds good, whatever. So anyway, I've got some cool stuff, and I want to kind of, show you this stuff. I just happen to be on this test bench I'm putting together. I've got this amp that's kind of I don't know, very uncommon. So it's a Crutchfield amp. The word on the street is these things were made by PPI. They're old school Class A, B amps, and they're supposed to be really cool. So anyways, this thing's probably from, I'm looking at this thing and it's got to be from the late 80s, early 90s. And I haven't really nailed it down to when these things were made, but that's what it really looks like. And it's been sitting around. I've had it for several years and didn't know if it worked or not. So today I decided to stick it on the bench. And so anyways, I got a test bench here, and I've got this 7892 Alpine, which I think I had a 7874 back in the early 2000s. I wanted to get something that had green buttons on it, and it had to have an auxiliary output on it. Got it set up, got a Bluetooth dongle on it, but anyways, it sounds so much better with CDs and stuff in it. But anyways, here's the amp. This thing's super cool. So we hooked it up. I've already run the front channels. It's a 4-channel amps, 4x50 50 watts, and we already ran the front channels, and they worked. I mean, it powered right up. It worked. So we've got the rear ones hooked up. Got a little music on here. We'll play a quick little clip. We got some JL. I think these are C2s or 3s or something like that. 6x9s. They sound pretty good. They're in little boxes, so that works pretty cool. But anyways, we'll. My share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Oklahoma, Shefferville, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bakersfield. So anyways, shit works, man. So pretty cool for a 30, possibly 35-year-old amplifier to fire right up. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So all right, so got to get down to the important stuff. You guys all want to see what's inside this thing. So anyways, this is old school. 15 inches by about 8 inches wide, 2.5 inches tall. This thing doesn't have any crossovers or anything in it. It's 4-channel. It says 4-channel amp. It's got a button here for if you're gonna bridge it into 2 channels. It's got a power LED, and on this side it just has speaker wires. But I'm gonna surprise you a little bit when you look inside. But here's the model and all the information that's on the amp. They were nice enough to give you the speaker output wiring and stuff on the back, made in USA. Again, these were branded Crutchfield, but Crutchfield wasn't a manufacturer. So possibly these were made by PPI. But one of the things that sort of bugs me a little bit is, come on, guys, seriously. Somebody shorted you 3 inches. So, anybody want to take a look at this thing? We'll shoot a picture of it and post it up there, and let us know what you think inside. We got a board here, made in USA. Really, there's not a lot going on here, as far as the power supply end and the caps and stuff. But, for a Class AB amp making 50 watts, it looks like it would seem like you should have more in it. But I'll tell you what, on the test bench, I've run a couple different amps on that test bench, and I'll tell you what, this amp freaking it pushes those 6x9s pretty well. So let's take a look here. What we've got for pieces and parts and stuff. Those are the MOSFETs. Look like it's a 2N6487 8826s. So I'll try to see if there's anything else on the board. And if you look on the board, it says 3050. So they made a 30 watt and a 50 watt version of this thing. I don't know what the difference is. So, if anybody has any information on that, let us know. But past the quality control. Just looking around inside here. See what we can see. It's clean, and it's a nice layout. This thing is beautiful inside. It looks brand new. It's dusty and dirty on the outside, but, it's brand new on the inside. The gain pots, I think I'm going to deoxide them, clean them up a little bit. Everything looks good. Looks a clean design. So anyways, well, hope you like it, and we'll give you a little walkthrough on some of the other stuff, maybe a little teaser of some of the other stuff that we're going to be doing here. All right, here's a couple other amps that I've got. This Lanzar amp is super cool. I bought this amp new in 1995, and I replaced a Punch 45 and a Punch 75 that was running my system back in the day. Like I said, I was kind of a minimalist, and this amp here, it's a 4-channel, 40 watts a channel amp. Trying to remember what this thing... We've got nothing. That's right. This thing does have crossovers in it. It does, right? A high pass and a low pass, and you can also run it full range, I believe. So I was running this amplifier, 2 Pro Rockford Fosgate 10-inch woofers on the rear channel mono, and I was running some 6.5-inch Fosgate mid bass drivers, and then a set of 4-inch plates with some tweeters. I think I had 2 sets of tweeters. I had plates and the 6.5s and some tweeters in the door. So this thing was running, 2 ohms on the high pass and bridged on the low pass. And this was a great amp, man. This thing really kicked ass. For being 40 watts a channel, this thing really just hit hard. Biggest problem with it was it'd get hot and it would just go into protect and shut off. It'd come right back on. It never hurt it. But this thing was great. It sounded good, and man, it was so much more powerful than that Punch 45 and the Punch 75 combination I had. This thing was great. I love it, especially I bought it new. And only a couple of years ago, I still had the box for this thing. I had a bunch of shit in it, and I ended up throwing the box away, but that sucked. And then I've got this linear power amp that I just picked up somewhere. I didn't pay shit for it, and we'll do a test on this. I have no idea if this old thing works. This thing's probably mid to late 80s. It's a model 1752. It says it's a 170 watt amplifier, but I don't think it's... Let's see what else it says on this thing. You know, the cool thing is we live in we're from Northern California. We're up in Chico, and this amp was made in Auburn. Okay, Auburn is really still, even today, is a small town, let alone 1985. And I mean, it's amazing, that this thing's still around. And this is the cool shit. This stuff was made by real people in just little shops putting this stuff out. That's why it was so expensive. I mean, this stuff was all hand built, and using just quality stuff. And it's amazing that, being in California, a lot of these companies, were from here. Soundstream and stuff really wasn't that far away. So we got these amps, and then I got into a little kick recently, and I bought me some of these V12 amps, and they're all the same vintage, about 1997. And this is the big boy. This is the 1505, and I want to say this thing's like, God, I don't remember, 600 watts a channel. And then these are 2 4-channel amps. I think this one's about 75 watts a channel. This is an MRV F505. This is an MRV T505. Actually, no. This one's a 4-channel. This one's a 2-channel. Okay, and I was gonna play around because these are, in the future. I want to build a vintage system in my Firebird, and what I'm thinking about doing is making all the mounting and stuff for the amplifier. It's kind of modular, so I can swap amps in and out really easy and play around with some different stuff. And I just really like this stuff. I think this one, for Alpine, was building shit all over the place. This one's made in China. This big bad boy, this one's, I believe, this one's still made in Japan. And I think this one's made in Korea, which is nuts because, oh wow, that's interesting. So we won't show you that. That's for another day. Oh, this one's still made in Japan. And that was sort of my thing, was getting some of this quality Japanese stuff. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll have more stuff to come. So, make sure you like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Leave some comments, man. And like I said, I got a test bench over here, and it's kind of a mess. I really haven't figured out how I want to lay it all out so I can connect and disconnect stuff really quickly, and still trying to figure out what I want to use for a head unit. I mean, I got a whole ton of different head units. I got this Pioneer one, and like I said, I like the Alpine with the green buttons, man. I'd like to even find something older than that. It just needs to have an aux input. Back in the day, I had a 7901, I think, a 7904. I actually had a 7909, which is like, holy shit, for a long time. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks.